The morning light spilled softly through the large glass windows of Professor Raymond Cole's study. Books in every language imaginable lined the walls, and the air smelled faintly of old paper and ink. Raymond was a world-renowned polyglot, a man who could speak over 40 languages fluently. He had traveled the globe, decoding ancient scripts and teaching at prestigious universities. To many, he was a genius. But lately, he had hit a roadblock. In his latest research, he had stumbled upon an ancient manuscript written in an unknown tongue. It was a discovery that could change linguistic history forever. But after months of effort, he couldn't decipher even a single complete sentence. The symbols were unlike anything he had seen before. The frustration was beginning to wear on him. He sighed, rubbing his temples as his housemaid, Martha, quietly dusted the bookshelves nearby. Martha was a humble woman in her late 30s, with kind eyes and worn hands from years of hard work. She'd been working for Raymond for almost 5 years now. Her young daughter, Alina, sometimes accompanied her to the professor's mansion after school. That morning, Alina had come along. She was sitting quietly in the corner, her eyes scanning the shelves of books with a curiosity far beyond her years. She was only 14 but had always been a quiet, observant child. Her mother often said she was born with an old soul. Raymond noticed her looking at the open pages on his desk. "Careful there," he said absent-mindedly. "That's not a language for children." Alina tilted her head slightly. "It's pretty," she said softly, pointing at the strange characters. "They look like music notes." Raymond chuckled. "Music notes? That's an interesting observation. But these are words." "Well, I think they are." He leaned back, amused by the girl's comment. Her mother quickly scolded her. "Alina, don't bother Professor Cole. Go sit down and finish your homework." "It's all right," Raymond said with a small smile. "Let her look. Curiosity is how we learn." The girl stepped closer to the desk. Her eyes ran across the page with an intensity that surprised Raymond. "This one," she said, pointing to a particular line. "It looks like the word for light." Raymond froze. He stared at her, his smile fading. "What did you just say?" "Light," she repeated innocently. "Like sunlight." He leaned forward. "How do you know that?" "I don't know," she said quietly. "It just feels like that's what it means." Raymond blinked. He had spent weeks trying to determine even a single symbol's meaning, and here this girl, this maid's daughter, had said something that made perfect sense linguistically. He stood up and grabbed a notebook. "Alina, can you read this line here?" Her mother looked nervous. "Professor, please, she's just a child." "She doesn't." But Raymond interrupted, his voice sharp with excitement. "Martha, please. I think your daughter might be seeing something I cannot." Alina hesitated but stepped closer. She traced the strange markings with her finger. "This one means voice," she murmured. "And that one, it's something like earth or ground." Raymond felt his heart racing. He quickly checked his earlier notes and cross-referenced them. She was right. Completely right. The symbols she pointed out connected perfectly with the few linguistic roots he had identified through weeks of analysis. He stared at her, almost in disbelief. "Alina, have you seen this language before?" She shook her head. "No, sir. But it's like I can hear what it's saying in my head." Martha looked frightened. "Professor, I'm so sorry. She sometimes says strange things. Please don't think." But Raymond wasn't listening. He was pacing now, thinking aloud. "This isn't random. She has an instinctive understanding of linguistic structure, pattern recognition at a subconscious level." He turned to Martha. "Your daughter might be a linguistic savant." Over the next few weeks, Raymond asked Martha if Alina could stay for a few hours after her mother's shifts. He wanted to test her ability more. At first, Martha was hesitant. But when she saw the professor's genuine interest and kindness toward her daughter, she agreed. Day after day, Alina sat with the professor, translating, guessing, and unraveling the mysteries of the ancient text. She worked quietly, but with a focus that even Raymond envied. Every time he presented her with a page, she would tilt her head, study it, and within minutes, offer interpretations that made perfect sense. Soon, what had been a puzzle became a full-blown discovery. They learned that the text was a hymn written by a civilization lost thousands of years ago. It spoke about the harmony between sound and creation, the idea that the universe was born through the vibration of words and music. Raymond was astonished. His research began to progress faster than he had ever imagined possible. But what fascinated him even more was Alina herself. He realized that she wasn't just smart. Her brain seemed to decode patterns effortlessly, seeing meaning where others saw chaos. One afternoon, as they worked, he asked, "Alina, what do you want to be when you grow up?" She shrugged. "I don't know. Maybe a teacher. Or maybe someone who travels, like you." He smiled. "You can be anything you want. But I think the world needs your mind." Her mother, who overheard, looked down, unsure how to respond. She had spent her life cleaning other people's homes, surviving paycheck to paycheck. The thought that her daughter could rise to a different kind of life seemed almost too good to be true. As months passed, news began to spread. Raymond had published his preliminary findings on the manuscript, crediting a young assistant for her invaluable contributions. Scholars around the world were stunned. A few even mocked him, believing his claim was exaggerated. But when they requested to see his assistant, Raymond arranged a private demonstration at his home. That day, several university professors gathered in his study. Alina sat nervously beside him as he handed her a new section of the script, one even he hadn't studied yet. One of the visiting professors smirked. "You expect us to believe a teenage girl can read this?" Raymond didn't answer. He simply nodded to Alina. "Go ahead." She looked at the paper, tracing the symbols as her lips moved silently. Then she spoke softly, translating each line into English, her tone calm and sure. When she finished, there was silence. The professors exchanged glances. One of them, a linguist from Oxford, leaned in. "That translation, it matches the phonetic structure of the Proto-Austric family." "How did she?" "She didn't study it," Raymond said quietly. "She just understands it." The room was stunned. Cameras clicked. Recorders were turned on. Alina had just done what no adult expert could. That night, when everyone had left, Raymond sat with Martha and Alina. "Your daughter is going to be famous," he said softly. "I can help her get into any university she wants. Full scholarship. The world deserves to know her gift." Martha's eyes filled with tears. "Professor, I don't even know what to say. I never thought. I never dreamed she could have such a chance." Alina hugged her mother tightly. "Mom, you always told me to use my mind and be kind. Maybe this is how I can make you proud." Within a year, Alina's name appeared in academic journals alongside Raymond's. She became the youngest translator ever invited to the World Linguistic Conference. Reporters were fascinated by the story, a maid's daughter from a small town who had helped decode one of history's oldest mysteries. At the conference, she stood in front of hundreds of scholars. Her voice was steady, her presence calm. She spoke not just about the manuscript, but about the beauty of languages, the way they connect humanity across time and space. The crowd gave her a standing ovation. Later, as she stood outside the hall under the bright city lights, Raymond joined her. "You did it," he said proudly. She smiled. "We did it." "No," he said gently. "You showed the world that genius doesn't come from privilege or wealth. It comes from within." Years later, Alina would go on to become one of the youngest professors in linguistic history, teaching at the same university where Raymond once taught. Her discoveries continued to change the field. She created new learning methods for children, proving that language isn't just about memorization. It's about feeling, rhythm, and empathy. Whenever she visited her mother, who still preferred living a quiet life, she would smile and say, "Remember the day I said those letters looked like music notes?" Her mother would laugh softly. "Yes, my little girl who could hear music in words." And every time Alina translated a new script or helped someone learn a new tongue, she remembered that moment. The moment when a child's curiosity turned into brilliance. The moment when a maid's daughter taught the world that true genius knows no class, no color, and no limits.